could I be? And God forgives us in those times when we're stubborn and we don't listen to Him, and that's what's awesome. He can give us a brand new start. But don't miss out, because you don't know what God has for you. I mean, some of you all could be on TV someday talking about God, telling millions of people all over the world how amazing God is. And when it comes down to it, don't, like I said, when you say you don't need God, you need God. And this life isn't going to be forever. And I don't want to scare you, but it's a scary thing, but it's true. I mean, there's no sugarcoating to it. There's a hell, but there's a heaven. And you're going to one of them one day. And whether there's no turning around it, there's no getting away from it. And it's not just about that. I mean, I don't want any of you to go to hell. I don't want to go to hell. I want to go to heaven. I want to see Jesus. I mean, that's the best thing to think. Jesus, we're going to be with Him for eternity. And, people think about hell and they think, oh, it's one big party. I'll be down there with my friends and all this. And I've heard so many young kids say that. It's one big party. If a party's burning forever, then I know it's a party I don't want to go to. That friend that you're going to be partying with is probably going to be beating you or not having anything to do with you, to be completely honest. They're going to be burning the same as you. And to think eternity, this life, it's so quick, and everything in this world's so speedy. It's hard to think of eternity in your mind. It's hard to think that something's never going to end. But I know when Gary used to teach in Sunday school, he used to say, if I made a little fire right here, and I put you in the middle of it, and I left you there, but you never died. And I put a box on it and just left you in there, but you never died. But you felt the pain of that fire. That's what hell's going to be. And the thing is God didn't create that for you. He created that for sin and the devil. But God sent His only Son to die for you so you could have life and have it more abundantly. And He set before you life and death so you would choose life. And the cool thing is I think Brad said something about this morning, God isn't a big mean God making you do something. He's giving you a choice. He hasn't put His finger down on you. You have to be saved. You have to live by my rules. He's giving you a choice. And that's because God loves you. I mean, just think of all the eons of time of the world, of how He tried to get sin out. And finally, it comes down to it that nothing else can be done, and He gives His only Son to us scum. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. I mean, to look at the world and how nasty it is. But Jesus saw it on that cross, and He stayed. He stayed up there for that very thing. And the stuff we see on TV, all these people doing this bad stuff, God loves them. He died for them. And that's why we need to show compassion to them and shine our light to people. And the Christian life isn't boring, and it isn't lame, and it isn't not any fun. It's amazing. I mean, I've told people before, even if there wasn't a heaven, but there is, that's the awesome part. If heaven was just a shack and a gravel road, a song says, that's all I care about. I mean, the fulfillment that you get with Jesus in your life on this earth, if that's all that I get, that's fine, because that's how awesome He is. I mean, for something to be that awesome is awesome. I can't explain it in words. You have to feel it for yourself. But there's a Casting Crowns song that says, if I could live 1,000 lives and bind the hands of time, I would live every moment by your side. And if I could live 1,000 lives, I want to live every one by God. Because I know what life without God does. And, I love all of you in here. I love all you kids in here, even if I don't know you. I love you. And I wouldn't be up here if it wasn't to tell you that God loves you. And it might sound weird. Maybe you've never heard about it before. Just like I said a while ago, some people don't know. But there's a God. And He gave His Son. And He loves you. He was beaten beyond measure just for you. And He was holy. I mean, He left glory and amazingness and everything to take upon earthly being and to feel pain, probably the worst pain that anybody's ever felt in the world. And you could read the Bible over and over again. You could read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John over and over again and read about the crucifixion of God, but you will never, ever, ever see how much Jesus went through for us. You will never see the pain. You will never see how bad He hurt for us. And that He did that for us, so don't miss out on something free and so amazing. Because his yoke is easy and his burden is light. You know, I was talking about Sunday school this morning. That was in our Sunday school lesson. You know, his yoke is easy and his burden is light. When I think about that verse, it's just like, you know, because it is. I mean, it just pours through you because it's just so easy. And the burden of this world is so heavy. And it can weigh down on you and mess you up and get you into all kinds of trouble and all kinds of junk. But think, the God of the universe will take your junk. And he already died for it 2,000 years ago. And you can be free from that. And, you know, life with God is amazing. I can't say that enough. I don't want to ever live without him. I mean, I don't even want to try it because I don't even want to. I mean, I can't function without him. If I had to get up tomorrow morning and I knew God wasn't there, I wouldn't even fool with getting out of bed. Because what would I do? Because I don't know how people function without him. And, you know, but this is a fight, you know. It's no time to be chilling out and putting our feet up. You know, we need to be totally forward, like these 3 Hebrew children. You know, if junk comes around, fight the junk. You know, don't sit by and let it. You know, so many times Christians get harped on for standing up for themselves. And you might think, well, I'm not going to say anything because I'm a Christian and blah, blah, blah. I just don't care. I'm just going to stand up for God because there's a limited amount of time left. And I don't really care if I offend somebody because I'm doing it out of love. I'm not going to be angry at somebody. I'm not going to yell at somebody or something like that. But in a loving way, I'm going to show them and tell them where I stand and where they could stand too. And, you know, there's just, you look at the news every day and there's so much junk and in the schools, I can only imagine what they're like now. I mean, I know they were a little bit bad when I went to school, but I talk to the kids sometimes, stuff's going on. It's just, it's horrible. But wouldn't it be awesome if we, as kids in here, would go to those schools and shine our light and have dove's feet. I heard a preacher preach one time, have dove's feet and make tracks all throughout that school to where God's power just radiates throughout it. Because, you know, God isn't in school anymore and God isn't anywhere anymore because nobody wants him. And that's pretty sad. That the God that holds the destiny of this universe, people don't even care. Because they've become blind and oblivious to what's going on. They don't even know. And there's a verse that says, you know, they'll come as wolves in sheep's clothing. You know, be careful, kids. There's stuff out there that, I mean, whether it be music, whether it be movies, whether it be friends, it can come in all shapes and forms. And before you know it, your head's all messed up. You're just like thinking things you shouldn't think, or just with a crowd you shouldn't be with. I know with me, with music, I mean, a few years ago, anyway, I'm old. A few, probably, in my early teens, you know, I love music. It's amazing. I love listening to music. I can listen to music all day long. I'd say music's in my DNA. I love it. But you know, I got to listen to some bands, and I just listened to the music. You know, I like the music. That's what I said. I like the music. And but they're bands I shouldn't have been listening to. They didn't have a good testimony. They didn't have a testimony of God. But at that time, I didn't think of that. You know, I just thought, you know, I just listened to the beat. I like the music. I like the guitar. Yada yada. But that junk was getting pumped into my head. And I realized every time I listened to that junk that I'd get angry. I'd be mad. When I listened to that song, I'd sing it. I'd be mad, and I didn't even know why. And I got to thinking, that's not right. And you know, I really prayed about it because music really affects me. I mean, some people might be able to listen to that stuff and they're not faded, but music really affects me. And it could be different with you. It could be not music. It could be something else that affects you. But like I'm saying, there's different things everywhere. And you know, I just kept praying about that and kept praying about that. And someone spoke to me and said, you know, if I want you to sing for me, I don't want you listening to any garbage, you know. I mean, I shouldn't have any garbage in my head. And that was the year of my life where I really got close to God. And I really figured out who he was and how amazing